Hi, my name's Nellie. I'm from OOHMDance, and today we're going to show you how to do stage makeup. Before we get started, there are a few things you're going to need. You're going to need primer, either tinted moisturizer for our younger dancers or foundation for our older dancers, concealer, blush, eyeshadow primer, a dark brown eyeshadow, a white eyeshadow, black liquid eyeliner, mascara, brow pencil, and then false eyelashes and glue. And you're just going to need a setting spray to finish off the look. I have Shelby with us today as our fabulous model, and we're going to start by applying her primer. For all of your recital makeup, there's no need to purchase high quality makeup. Drugstore brands are just fine, especially for our students who wear this once or twice a year. So I use Rimmel personally. It's nice and cheap, but it does the job. And you can apply this just with your fingers, and you just put it all over the face like lotion. Now you want to apply an eyeshadow primer. I like the really cheap Wet n Wild, but you can go up from there. You just want to apply this to the eyelid, and that'll help your eyeshadow stick and stay all day through lots of sweating. The next step is applying your under eye concealer if you need it, or anything to cover your blemishes, as well as your foundation. For younger students, a tinted moisturizer works really well. There are a number of brands out on the market. For our older students, they want to go with either a liquid or a powder foundation depending on their skin type. Shelby has a liquid foundation, and we're going to put that on. That's perfect for all of our dancers who are in the middle range. For anybody who wants to go above and beyond, you can add contouring. Suck your cheeks in. Your skin's going to feel so good after this. Perfect. Pro tip for our blonde dancers, you want to use a contour powder, a shadow, or a bronzer at the hairline, and that helps separate their face from their hairline on stage under the bright lights. The next step is to add color to the cheeks. You don't want to use anything that's too pink, too red, or too orange. We're going just to highlight their natural skin color, so something in the berry tone is usually pretty good. Big smile for me. Good. Find the apples of their cheeks and swipe up to the top of the ear. You want to go darker than you normally would for their natural face because we're putting them on stage. The next step is to fill in our eyebrows. I have really dark eyebrows. This is something I've never needed to handle. Blondes or young children just need to fill in the shape of their eyebrow. We really want our kids to have eyebrows on stage, otherwise they look just a little bit creepy. So for Shelby, what we need to fill in is right here at the center, and then just a little bit on the outside edge for it to show from stage. A pencil works really well. We're just using short strokes here. While you're working, you don't want to stress yourself out too much about it being perfect. The beautiful thing about stage makeup is the closest person looking at it is over 25 feet away. So if you're a little off, no one's going to notice. And we just want to blend it with some kind of brush. Now we're ready for the eyes. You want to start with a really dark brown eyeshadow, no shimmer. It can be really tempting to put shimmer on stage, but then our kids start to look like disco balls underneath the lights, which we don't want. We're going to start with this dark brown. Again, you can go cheap with your eyeshadow. And this is going right in the crease of the eye. If I think about art class from high school, I'm drawing in the shadow that naturally exists. Open up and close. Sometimes with smaller eyes on our children, Q-tips are actually really helpful on their very tiny features. Open up. Close. Open up.
Closed. Good.
The next step in this process is adding the highlight to the eye. So we're going to use a white eyeshadow. Don't be afraid of actually using white. Again, this part does not want to have any shimmer. We're going to brush this on the brow bone and on the lid of the eye. Look at me. Sometimes during recital week with long hours of dress rehearsal, we start to look a little worse for wear and the bags under our eyes start to build. If that's happening, now's this time to put in just a little bit of shimmer with the white shimmery eyeshadow. You can put this, it really makes a mess, right in the corners of their eye. And that'll just catch a little bit of light on stage and get rid of that dark blue shadow that exists. The next step is our liquid eyeliner. This can be really frustrating for a lot of people, but I'll give you some tips. I personally really like to use a brush that has a tip that's more like a felt marker rather than the squiggly ones. I find it gets the job done with less wiggling around. I also like to put the eyeliner on before I put on my eyelashes, and that gives me a little bit of room to mess up and no one will notice. So we're going to start on the top eye. Turn your head that way. And thank you. And we're going for a nice thick line. And then I want to extend it past the corner of her eye, about to the end of her eyebrow, or about 1/4 of an inch. I'm going straight out. I'm not thinking up in a triangle. Leave those closed and turn your head towards me. Hey, thanks. Look at me. And we're just going to even her out just a little bit here. Fabulous. If you have a younger dancer who keeps trying to open their eyes, we like to use the trick of telling them to be Sleeping Beauty. You can have them lay down on the couch and put their head back on the armrest and tell them they're not allowed to open their eyes until they get a kiss on their forehead to wake them up. This usually does the trick. The next step is applying the false eyelashes. I find this easier, especially on younger dancers, than putting on mascara, but if it's becoming an argument, go for mascara and make the day simple. There are lots of different brands. You'll see we have 2 different brands here. You want to use something that's not too long and not too thick. We're just going for a very heavy mascara look. Before we apply the glue to the eyelashes, we want to measure them on their eye. Have a close. And Shelby's fit, so I don't need to trim anything off the ends. A tiny pair of scissors is helpful for smaller eyes. Sometimes you need to take just a little bit off the end so the eyelash fits the eye. Now we're going to apply a very thin strip of lash glue to the edge of the lash. And just like we learned in elementary school, when you apply too much glue, it never dries and it slides all over the place. So we don't have to go too heavy. You want to let that dry for just a few seconds so the glue gets a little tacky, and then we're ready to apply them to the eye. I'm just settling them in right down close to the lash line. And she's going to keep her eyes closed. It's time for the second eye. Once the glue is clear, they're ready to open their eyes. Now, you don't want to freak out if you've glued their eyes closed just a little bit. We happen to get lucky here with Shelby. If you did, you can open a bobby pin and sneak and just catch those little eyelashes. But we're good here. This is also your chance. You can go back over with your eyeliner and just touch up anything that you need to make that a nice clean line. And the last step on the eyes is just to finish up with the mascara and some eyeliner on the bottom. On the bottom of the eye, you want to use a pencil, or you can use an angled brush and use a dark eyeshadow. I personally like using a pencil. Shelby, I'm going to have you look up and over there. And we're just putting a little tiny bit into her lash line. Look at me. Good. Face the other way. Again, looking up and away. I'm lining from the outside corner of her eye and to the center. Look at me. Fabulous. The last step on the eyes is adding just a little bit of mascara. This will seal the eyelashes to the false eyelashes in case there's a little bit of distance. And for our blonde or redhead dancers, it keeps their light colored eyelashes from looking too bright. Look up and slowly blink. Good. Blink. Just kind of a sleepy blink. Slow blink. Fabulous. The last step for the face is applying your lipstick. For younger kids, we don't want anything that is red or pink. We don't want them to look like a pop star. We don't want them to look like they're wearing loads of makeup. We just want them to have a face on stage. I like to look at the inside of their bottom lip and go one shade darker for a really natural looking lipstick on stage. The last step of the whole look is to apply a setting spray. There are lots of different setting sprays on the market, and use whichever one works best for you. Close your eyes, cold coming at your face. And just keep it closed until it's dry. This will help them stay crease-free and makeup on them and not their costume the whole way through their dance recital, the dress rehearsal, the second show, the third show. They'll be set. Thanks for watching.